Hello everybody and welcome to this, the lower bracket series between two excellent players. We are of course in the top 4 remaining players in the tournament, and right now on Amelie Fields playing in the south as the austere and the Ostrupen Doctrine, it is the fearsome DevM.
He may be fearsome, but he's using the tried and tested razor edge meta we've already seen today, and he's up against a man that doesn't just throw caution to the wind. He does whatever he damn well pleases. He makes his own meta. He plays his own way. It is indeed Asiamint playing as the Soviets with 3 commanders available to him: armored assault, defensive tactics, and urban defense tactics, with some very interesting bulletins. Stormers, tell us what we're seeing there.
Well, there's 2 bulletins which I love to see because I think these are really cool. That is, of course, the TM35 mines, 6% less, and mines building 10% faster. You, as Soviets, are going to want to lay mines everywhere and anywhere. That is a huge benefit of the Soviet faction, that they can do that so quickly, so easily. But the third one, AE, is not one that you typically see in any competitive games. Or any games, in fact. But that is Katyusha's and Panzerwerfer's build 50% faster. Now, typically with bulletins, you want bulletins that are going to affect you constantly throughout the game. That's why a lot of people pick infantry bulletins or mine bulletins, because that's always going to be useful. You're always going to have infantry. You're always going to want to build mines. Katyusha suggests to me that his strategy might involve building constant Katyushas.
Yes.
Is there any viability to this?
Definitely against this build with a double pack and the MG42, of course. Amelie Field's a good map for indirect fire, as we've already seen. We also just saw Asiamint make use of a well-known bug that has been a competitive exploit in Company of Heroes past. I don't think he was doing it deliberately, however. One-man capping, also known as gap walking. It's a little bit controversial, but not really. MG42 is down. Conscripts are in a decent position, but what's happening in the west is the Ostrupen are taking the cutoff. Asiamint's had a dodgy start here. DevM's had a very solid start, and I've seen him finish people off on Amelie Stormers. I've seen him go straight up the spine of the map with the MG and pin you in your base.
Yeah, you don't want to be losing that point early. Of course, it's so early in the game that this isn't a massive loss. He can get back on top of that quickly, but it does kind of allow DevM to put a bit of a stronghold around the center of the map right now, uncontested. It's a great time for DevM to start laying telemines. I'm sure we're possibly going to see that in a second, because you want to use your starting munitions that way.
Importantly,
yeah.
Asiamint did not lose his cutoff. DevM was unable to take it. The MG's now come up, but he's got one less Ostrupen in this position. Conscripts are going to go for a flank all the way around the side there. MG knows it. It's going to reposition and wait for it. This is classic MG play. You have to predict the way your opponent's going to attack you next with it. He's also got the combat engineers engaged in the south, so it's all eyes on the MG because the Ostrupen were able to take the cutoff in the end.
Yeah, it's fantastic early game. Really fantastic. DevM's practiced all week. I mean, he was already well practiced last week, and he's just like obviously playing against Lovenest. Lovenest brought some new builds up with the Soviets to try and counter the Ostrupen strategy. That was actually the defensive tactics commander. Asiamint here is actually kind of elevating that another level, because he's the important part of this counter was having the M42 AT gun of the Soviets to deal with the light vehicle rush from Austere. But late game, if you see urban defense tactics, late game, there's the potential for a KV2. So that could be where he's going here. It's a beautiful map for it. So, provided that Asiamint can get control of the map again, we could
providing he can get there, indeed. He's got options as his commanders in the late game. But right now, DevM doesn't want to even let him think about options. He has no option but to die a relatively quick death, because DevM is all about those 20-minute wins. He tries to get on top of you and does not let you breathe. Gets you in a guillotine choke, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu style, and you won't be awake for a while.
DevM leaves you typically with one option, usually, and you can find that on the top right of the minimap if you're in game.
Oh, yes, show player stats. Oh no, that's top left. You mean? Oh, in the game. Sorry, not in the observer. Not on the observer UI. Okay, fair enough.
Not an observer. I am of course talking about surrender.
Oh yes, of course, indeed. I was doing a joke. Allegedly. Panzer Grenadiers standing by. A little bit of a waddle. Probably on the beer the night before. Pioneers have been battling. The 222 comes to save their life against the combat engineers, forcing them away.
By the way, teller position, the start game teller, is if you just go south of the Pioneers at the moment, you'll see it on the road. That is a really, really good teller position. It's so far in enemy territory, and it's exactly what you never want to concede map, the map to DevM, because you don't want to give your opponent the ability to lay mines like that. Munitions for Asiamint have already been spent on the flamethrower upgrade, so there isn't minesweeping there right now. There may be in the future, but...
M42 is out. They usually hunt in packs, but right now they're just enough to keep the 222 at bay. And he's laying his own mines, of course, on the cutoff this time. I bet he wish he could have done that earlier.
It's interesting. I mean, like, I would have to expect at some point a second Pioneer from DevM, because as the map control starts to go blue towards Asiamint, then actually you already see Asiamint laying down mines right now. We're gonna have to see minesweepers. DevM's been prioritizing the flamethrower to kind of capitalize on the early game, make the Ostrupen more effective against lower health squads.
He's used all the munitions he can at the moment. Asiamint. Flamethrower is going to be vital to forcing these Ostrupen away. We saw that in the previous game when Nagano had his successes against Isildur. It was with the flamethrower against the Ostrupen, who have to stand in cover to be combat effective, really. It was very important he stops this victory point being capped, and he is indeed getting sandbags down because he doesn't want to get a triple cap against him in the early game.
Absolutely. I see a couple of people, by the way, saying defensive doctrine, community defense, what? But it's defensive tactics is the name of the doctrine. But this is actually a strong counter to the Ostrupen build right now, because the M42 AT gun, which you can call in, very good against the light vehicle rush from the Ostrupen doctrine. When they skip tier 1 and go into tier 2, they get the scout car up quickly. This is a good counter to it. But also, I think the biggest problem, which we're going to see come in soon, is the Dushka. It's going to be the Soviet machine guns, which, again, good against light vehicles, good against infantry, quick to pick up, quick to move around. That's going to be a problem that DevM's going to try and get on top of as the game goes on.
He's got to try and get on top of it, otherwise he'll get dusked into oblivion. Yes, that is a verb. Coined it. Now is, anyway. Second MG42 pushes up. We've just had a mine detonate. It was up here with the one-man Ostrupen. DevM is going to continue the cap. That's very aggressive. It's just a standard territory point. It's no longer a cut-off because he has all the territories east side of there. Ostrupen, meanwhile, are going for a genuine cut-off. That would, of course, get rid of Asiamint's fuel.
More telemines on the right side with the Pioneers. It's DevM's just preparing right now. This is dangerous for the scout car to be going forward without minesweepers. But other than that, DevM is insane map control. Asiamint's still okay though. I mean, it's not so late in the game where there's serious problems. A lot of his units that he's going to be relying on are not based on resources such as fuel and munitions. He's going to be able to call these in from manpower. So
don't forget as well that DevM is countering your 30 munitions mines with a 32 manpower reinforcement of the two models of the Ostrupen that die. He's literally trading flesh for money in this sense. He's minesweeping with his Ostrupen, quite frankly. Oh dear. They won't look kindly upon General DevM after the war is finished. There'll be no parades for him, but he may win the battle. And that's what we're possibly seeing here.
Well, Asiamint here. Let's perhaps talk a little bit about his options. He has a good opportunity right now, whilst DevM hasn't got loads on the field, to start pushing some of his territory back. Actually, a good concerted push here with a lot of his units working in unison together would be really, really good. He does have to focus on that really and just try and overpower DevM. 80 grenades have been teched if that scout car does push a little bit far forwards, and there's a good Ura on the left-hand side around the MG42 to flank. Oh, look at this scout car on the telemine. Oh, I thought he was going to try and detonate the conscripts.
Oh, I see what you mean now. Yes, I see what you mean. MG42's been forced away. Conscripts behind the well for now. Ostrupen holding firm, which has been... It's not been the tale of this battle, actually. Ostrupen are just an appendage of DevM. It's all about the MG play. If you're wondering why he's been so powerful, yes, the Ostrupen are cheap. Nobody's going to deny that they're current meta for Wehrmachts, but DevM's MG play has been something else. It's been really impressive. Don't forget, he's up against Asiamint, winner of 2 tournaments this year alone. And he's looked like the DevM of old, quite frankly.
His play's been very, very good recently, and he's the good thing about DevM, I think what makes him a very, very formidable opponent. By the way, Minesweepers are on for Asiamint now. He has seen the telemine in the east, which is just being targeted by the M42. But what makes DevM is so formidable is his knowledge, and also the knowledge he applies under pressure. He's very good at developing those counters on the fly. He's very good at keeping track of enemy composition, like what's being built. And that makes him very, very lethal when you give him resources.
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that kind of casual audience may not know about these kind of chaos players like DevM or Von Ivan that have such aggressive playstyles is their knowledge is incredible. It's extremely good about Code 2. They know it in and out. If you can talk to them for literally hours, and both Stormless and I have, both alive in person and over comms on the internet. We know these guys know this game inside and out, and the proof is in the pudding. If you know the game, you can really succeed at it. But in this case, I mean, one of the things that's made Asiamint so successful this year is he has been able to prove that he has an EU-level understanding of this game. He sat down, by the way, and watched like 20 Brosras. This one might surprise you, Snorlax. 20 Brosras 2 versus 2 replays. He literally copied everything he did. He wrote it down. He learnt this game by following a very, very battle-hardened player, and that was his int a couple of years ago. Since that point, Asiamint and also his friend Ashablar, they have done replay analysis after replay analysis after replay analysis. They have not stopped. And Asiamint's understanding is on a different level. He's a very, very clever guy, and he knows a lot about the game.
Yeah, well, you're seeing that displayed here as he works his way back up the map. DevM has got tier 3 already built right now, and he's able to call in a Panzer IV if he wants to at any second. It's unlike DevM to not hit the right button immediately, so just looking and thinking, what is DevM looking for here? There we go. Panzer IV is actually now building. Huge, by the way, because we've only just seen tier 2 go up for Asiamint a few seconds ago. And I'm thinking he's probably going to have to rush tier 4 now because of the resource drop in the game.
But this cookie cutter build order, and it is indeed cookie cutter, has a slight alteration. DevM's put a gumdrop button on the nose of the gingerbread man with his second MG, but that's it. This is tried and tested strategy DevM is using greatly. Asiamint's gone for something different. That's why a lot of fans will have a soft spot in their heart for him. Oh, there's a mine hit by the 222. He's going to stay alive for now. But right now, it does indeed seem like the Portuguese maestro is firmly in command.
It's unfortunate that didn't actually get the kill. Very, very close amount of health remaining. By the way, an interesting point. The telemine that was detected by Asiamint on the right-hand side, it is possible that Asiamint thinks that is the first and only teller that DevM planted in this game. If that is the case, and the Minesweepers, that they haven't been on the left-hand side of the map yet, so it's possible... Oh, actually, no, sorry, I'm just looking at it. He has swept it and laid a mine of his own, actually. So they did go over there, actually, at some point, I think, perhaps when they planted that mine in the scout car. So that's great, actually. The point was removed a...
Tale as old as time itself. It's very difficult to mix the audio in a Company Heroes game, because Panzer IVs especially are one of the loudest things known to man. So... Let's lower the game sounds a little bit there, so when Stormus is giving us one of his excellent points, we can actually hear what he's saying. There we go. We are preparing, of course, for this weekend, for not just this match, guys. We're having 2 simultaneous matches, yes, but we've got a best-of-5 loser final later today, and then tomorrow we have a best-of-7 grand final. This is going to be one of the best weekends of Company of Heroes competitive action. You just know it, and I'm sure we've got so many viewers, both new and old, have turned out in their droves to watch what is going to be 2 days of awesome action.
Absolutely, it's going to be one hell of a weekend, very exciting weekend, and I'm just looking forward for what's kind of coming in the later stages of this. I actually, we've just seen some really good series. The 4 players that are remaining are just absolute legends right now, and every series has the potential to go huge distance. DevM, by the way, has just dropped Pack 40 and Machine Gun MG34 in the base. That gives him 3 MG42s right now. So in terms of map control, it's going to be really hard for Asiamint to push, because he's mostly machine guns and AT guns himself.
Dear Relic Entertainment, on the 21st of November, one of your casters said 3 MG42s. One of them was clearly an MG34. I am therefore I want a refund for my...
I'm reliably informed that the MG34 is weaker than its counterpart, and if that means anything to anyone, then we'll try to cast it when it happens.
Fair enough. And the conscript's gone past the MG42 indeed. Oh no, it is the 34 actually. And Panzer IV reverses away. He's now been demolished. M4. Oh, nice mine there, Dan.
Oh. Beautiful. Yeah. And good number of models killed in that one. And yes, you are right. The supply drop does drop the MG34, not the 42, which I learned is actually why some players are not using that ability, and actually why they are building the Pack 40 and the machine guns rather than dropping them from this commander.
Yeah, it gives you a bit of resources as well. It's a lot of manpower to spend, to be honest. You don't always have that float, but DevM being in such an imperious position, he's just, he's got manpower and munitions. Look at his munitions to spare. When he gets Mr. Schwer Gustav from the railway, he's going to demolish Asiamint. We've also had battle phase. Go on, what have you seen?
Asiamint, he's kind of like defusing all of DevM's mines, laying his own, there instead. But do you know what's really interesting that you can do is you can lay your own mines on top of the enemy mines without defusing them, and then you get like double impact.
Oh, talking of double impact, that's a double death for the Panzer Grenadiers. Asiamint just will not go away. Sturdy. But we are seeing again Wehrmacht unable to control that central victory point, just like we saw in the other match that we're watching in alternating fashion. Wehrmacht seemed to control the situation there. It may be the players. Certainly Nagano had his opportunities to get back into that one, and we want to see if Asiamint's going to have his opportunities. If he's going to, capitulate and lose a few squads here and there, or if he's going to hold strong and able to craft a way back in. Let's have a look. He's certainly building the army side. Look at that.
Well, I'm just waiting to see if Katusha is going to come in. He can build a T-34 right now. It's not happened yet, so...
There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
There
you go.
I was thinking, is it going to happen? Oh, but it could be the next unit. So.
Could have 4 machine guns now. The Dushka just got taken out by the 222, and at roughly the same time as Nagano started to lose a few units and cracks started to show. And it's oh, look at this defensive mind from Asiamint. He clearly expects DevM to try and finish this game off. And he's right. DevM knows no other way. Once he's repaired everything, he's going to be gunning for blood. Let's have a cheeky check on the stats. Dan, talk us through them. What can you see?
It's fairly even game, a lot of even trades. It's really map control that has just been the huge thing. If you go to points held, you'll just see DevM has had way more map control. He's got way more resources to spend. You know, but it has been an interesting game because this commander, as we talked about earlier, Asiamint's defensive tactics commander allows you to kind of bring things from off map, and that's allowed Asiamint to just kind of stockpile the little resources that he had, tech up over time, and now we have T-34 out, and this is going to be the tool that's needed to start getting back into the game.
Let's see if he can do that. I mean, he's targeting the 222. Pack 40's trying to set up. Panzer Grenadiers are lying in wait. Oh, what a Faust from around 2 corners. Homing missile style. Worms Armageddon, eat your heart out. Needs a super sheep, does Asiamint. Needs anything. Concrete donkey. Just to get back into this one.
Oh, Devon with the bundle grenade here.
Well
Asiamint was on
dodged.
top of it.
Well, he wasn't. He ran away from it, didn't he? I know what you mean. He was very, very quick. But we do indeed, we see a strange camouflage on the T-34. He's gone for aquamarine. I think he's trying to pretend the tank is a small pond, a duck pond. There's no other explanation for it because it's a grassy map. It makes no sense whatsoever.
It's a reminder, stark reminder that winter is coming.
Ha! Very true.
Oh, Panzer IV just goes around the corner, opens up to the M42s. That was unfortunate. Both of those were just completely prepped for that Panzer IV to come around the front there.
I watched a YouTube video by Mark Felton on Panzerwerfers. They're basically a Nebelwerfer on track, and I'm like, oh my god, I only realised, but the sound of them is so different to the Co 1 Nebelwerfer, and the rate of fire is so much higher that, but yes. Nice first salvo. Dushka out of commission.
Yeah, 8 kills on the first shot is really cool, and then that's actually the kind of effect that you want with a unit like this. Asiamint is suffering, I think, actually in manpower. He looks like he's saving up for something right now, but you know, he's got to make some decisions here. Is he going to utilize this Katusha bulletin and start bringing out
he's
some
used
direct
it.
fire of
He's
his own?
clicked the ability, and the first shot is going to rain hellfire from death from above. Get out of there, Asiamint! Can you hear the scream? Just a nice cinematic.
DevM, by the way, Vet 2 scout car, and the range is insane. He can actually see the T-34 repairing right now, from where the scout car is. If you put the fog of war on, that is why
God.
for reconnaissance, Vet 2 scout car is like an essential austere tool. You see it there.
UAV is online. You're trying to get the Predator missile, and the Harrier jump jets next is DevM. His UAV's working wonders for him now, though. Stole that joke from chat earlier, but I won't give credit. I'll just use it. Typical. As the T-34 now claims his 10th kill, he rolls in. There is that... it's a Soviet mine, actually. Of course it is.
Yep.
He planted it on top. We talked about it earlier on.
Yep, he's been doing a good job there, and hopefully, you know, that might be the thing that trips DevM up. There's the Panzerwerfer here. Oh, there's a big clump of models on that M42.
Oh, gets it again. They're never going to get any veterancy at this rate. DevM is following an excellent Dubai numbers, beat somebody on South Amelie strat, but he's playing it beautifully.
Yeah, and when you watch DevM, his play is so reserved. I mean, when you look at the Panzer IV, like, it's had the effect that you want from that unit just by being there. But has he really used it? Not particularly. It's just kind of causing the AT guns to do, you know, very, very little. AT guns have not been able to, like, go up the map. They're not using the explosive canisters against infantry. They're very subdued, really. It's just because Panzer IV is played very calm, very restrained.
An Asiamint has no choice now. He has no choice. He has to be aggressive and unrestrained with these T-34s. Just like Nagano in that previous game one, we're now seeing Soviets in the exact same position against this incredibly strong strategy. But he just needs to throw something in the works. He needs to think outside the box, perhaps. Maybe go for a wide flank. Let's look at the tac map, Stormless, and just see it. I mean, there's opportunities for wide flanks on this map. You just can't go through the center against this.
I actually thought that Asiamint would have the advantage in the center with these M42 AT guns, but he hasn't used it at all. Look at that shot.
Oh, he got good reconnaissance from the conscripts. Will he get the final blow? He needs the turret traversal. He's going to ram the Panzerwerfer. Asiamint, you madman! Beautiful stuff. He also gets the kill on the 222. This is the madness we desired, and we're getting it with full fruition right now. Rear armor may have been penetrated, but the tank's still alive, goddammit, and he might get the killing blow. Yes, he does. Asiamint pulled the trigger. What a push.
Wow. Unleashed God mode. DevM not expecting that at all. These are phenomenal plays, and they have come out of nowhere. I was ready to call this match a GG. DevM's going to be waiting to get this Panther out right now that's currently in the build, but what can be recruited here by Asiamint? This is insane.
I don't know if they celebrate Christmas in Korea. I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's something, but he's having a party right now. There's so many gifts available to him on the map. He can just go and pick them up, but the Panthers here, they've got Ostrup and they've got Panzer Grenadiers coming out as well, Pioneers also. Asiamint may have gotten territory, but he needs to consolidate those gains, bro. He needs to make it happen. Panther's going to push on and in. He's after the T-34. He gets it. It's all very well breaking through enemy lines, Dan, but you have to consolidate your position, and here we go. It's going to come from the sky above once more. Has he seen it? Oh no, the ominous whistle. 7 tons, shells falling. He planned it, by the way, for the treat path there. First shot on target every time, and Asiamint has thwarted him by standing still. Literally. He stood still I don't know if by accident or by design. It may be a double bluff, but unless this third shell...
The M42 AT gun was there at the time. I think that's where he dropped it on the double ATs. But yeah, actually, you just see here DevM on the right-hand side. I think he's so close to spotting the mines being laid up there, but it actually doesn't have the vision range. If you put Fog of War on for DevM, you'll see it's like suddenly it doesn't look so good anymore. There's another T-34 being churned out for Asiamint. And that, just to recap, just phenomenal. This is why we love casting this game, is when players can do things like that. That's the reason why Asiamint is here in this series right now, and with 78 VPs against 432, it's only now starting to heat up.
Oh, yes, well, I can smell it's cooking, and I'm hungry for more. Asiamint, please keep it coming. That was fantastic. And you've got to say, Stormless, that he has a tough battle ahead of him, but we're ready. If he can make this happen, this would be a fantastic game 1 of his series today.
Absolutely. I mean, tough battle maybe, but I'm just looking at DevM right now. There's no AT. The infantry are, you know, okay, they're good, but they can be routed quite easily, and there's just a Panther versus a T-34 and 2 AT guns. I'd say that DevM is like, he's got to be aggressive here to be defensive. He can't concede territory.
Ostrup and I think the way he got careless, the main way he got careless today was using munitions on the Schwer good stuff instead of continuing to plant mines. He just thought he had the game, and he didn't. And because he started to willy-nilly expend on huge railway artillery, you know, it's just classic German Wunderwaffe thinking. You know, you want to do the tried and tested methodology of warfare. Don't build a huge death cannon. It just doesn't work, Germany.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, DevM's choice right now is to go for another Panzerwerfer. I don't know how I feel about this, actually, because the Panther is not backed up by anything right now. There is a need for AT, I think, which is not being fielded.
Famous top 20 player Orange Pest says Soviet late game is kicking in, and very much the reasons the Soviets are so good in the late game is with tier 4 everything's just that little bit more. The conscripts are 7-man and easier to reinforce, etc. And your economy just really kicks in against, not definitely OKW, but even Wehrmacht with their bonuses with tier 4, you just outcompete them. And Asiamint has gotten there, but can he stay there? With only 78 victory points, he can only afford a few slip-ups before he's out of the game.
Yep, absolutely. And great first shot from the new Panzerwerfer, which removes one of the Dushkas. There is another T-34 that's just arrived from the north for Asiamint. And VPs are stalled at the moment. It's all about this VP in the center. I just want to say that I just saw Von Ivan poke up in chat and say GG, like, you know, like, how well played. I just think that was very Von Ivan-esque, you know. That incredible push there.
Certainly was. MG's been flanked in the west. DevM showing a few signs of faltering a little bit here. He has been known, by the way, in previous tournaments when he wasn't as well practiced, to certainly throw the lead at times. It has happened, but I would just say this is all Asiamint, baby. I take no credit away from the man. He's played fantastically to get back into this. T-34 pushes in, Panther reverses away, and he's holding the line. And this is very reminiscent, of course, some of the big battles of the Second World War. The Germans waiting for Panthers and then coming up against deep defense, deep battle Soviet lines of massed forces, and it's exactly what we're seeing as a microcosm in this game. So say what you will about the realism of Relic Entertainment's Company of Heroes 2, but at times it's like poetry.
Yeah. This is the makings of a really, really good opening game for the series. You know, looking at both players right now, huge amounts of veterancy on everything, notably 2 engineers at Vet 3 for Asiamint, so the repairs on the T-34s are speedy. Excellent fire from the Panzerwerfer there, wipes the Dushka again, this time taking down the Dushka itself. It cannot be recrewed now, forcing that respend from Asiamint if he wants another machine gun on the field.
Ostricken pushing with the LMGs, MG42 battering the same squad. Meanwhile, T-34 is going to come to try and rescue the situation. Doesn't want to lose any more of these 69 victory points. Nice flank by the T-34. That's a Vet 3 MG.
That Panther's got to be so careful the moment it moves just in front of the shed as the line of sight blocker. It's hit by the M42s. M42's moving into the range of the Gustav cannon.
Just pyrotechnics, though. That's all it is right now. And look at this, by the way, everybody. The Panzerwerfer is in a very ominous position. Very ominous. Is this what's been happening? I'd nope out of there. I'd shoot myself in the foot and just try and get on leave at that point. When you're next to the skull and... Oh, we just had... Oh, that's unfortunate. The spread there. M42 gets taken out.
Yeah, and you had a full squad of conscripts in the center get hit by it as well. So
crap! I did not see that. Fair enough. Too busy focused on the Panzerwerfer.
It's desperation. I mean, actually, Asiamint is in...
Oh, what a shot! That was not desperation. That was an assassination on retreat of that squad. So an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. It's all getting biblical here on Amelie Fields. One squad dies and another one falls.
Wow, I mean, DevM is trying to dominate this game with vehicles.
Dan, he's going in for the Panzerwerfer again. He's going in for it again. Oh, he misses this time. Panther's ready. Panther's ready. Acting like a linebacker, just trying to protect his quarterback.
Oh, the M42 range is just so deadly for the Panther. But the Panzerwerfer is in range of the M42, but it's going to have to get out of there because of a close range shot. That is really, really good timing from Asiamint to avoid that. Wow, what a game. What an amazing game this is.
It really is. 69 victory points for Asiamint versus DevM on 382 right now and dropping very slowly. But just like a wounded animal in the Serengeti, it will bleed out in time, and Asiamint stalking him, and he's biding said time right now. Panther's just been hit. Rear armor penetrated. Oh, the T-34s. They want action. Ostrupen down. I tell you what, Asiamint could push in here. He really could. We've got a stricken Panzerwerfer. Yes, he is. Stormer's call it. He's hitting the trigger yet again, possibly.
Yeah, this is the right decision. He knows that Panther's on low health. He just has to get vision for the M42 to start picking off the other tanks. He could ground attack through the fog of war here, roughly to where the Panzer IV is, but this aggression right now is key from Asiamint because he has lost a lot of his army, and he's just trying to give that kind of impact, the same impact you see when zebras get together in a herd, you know, and they look like a rock to enemy tigers. That's exactly what he's trying to do right now, and just keep pushing DevM back into the base.
We just saw the Panzer IV survive. The Panzerwerfer goes forward. He needs to be defensive. Panther's now backing up into the tree line. Panzerwerfer's misclicked a little bit. He has to back away. Asiamint's knocking at the door. Like, he wants it. We've got the MG42 being pushed away here. Panzerwerfer's been able to get a volley off. Let's see what happens. Oh, nice dodging there somehow by the M42. Still alive. But just look at that tacticular map. He's got a control, and he's got a death ball, StarCraft style, in the center.
It's so good. Just look at the repair times that he's got right now on these T-34s. They can dive in like that, take 75% health loss, repair so quickly on the front lines, and just get straight back into the action. You look at DevM, he's struggling to get that Panther back up to full health. And soon, there's going to be 3 T-34s backed up by 2 M42 AT guns. DevM doesn't have the composition to handle
Not
this.
just
It's
that.
all about aggression.
Not just that. He's going to back them up with an Su-85. He's just clicked it. What a beautiful decision. The T-34s are going to be protected by the long-range tank destroyer with the 85mm cannon. Oh my, this is a brilliant build order by Asiamint. And we said this at the start. He had to show excellent perseverance and preservation in order to survive, and he's done just that. Panther goes forward, could get the killing shot here, but DevM's gun shy, doesn't want it anymore. Yes, so was that a rare bounce on a T-34? It might have been. Either way, they're still alive. It was a penetration, but just about. And assassinates him from afar. He needs more of that.
Yep. DevM has a lot of time right now with 340 VPs. Asiamint hasn't applied the triple cap pressure by capping the VP on the left, so if DevM plays cool and calm, he can, you know, completely thwart this attack and what is lying outside of his base, but he's got to be careful of these T-34s.
Panzerwerfer!
What is it doing?
Reversed into combat yet again. Stay down, Mr. President! Stay down! No!
I don't know. I keep seeing it come in from the right of my screen, backwards normally, and then poking in.
But DevM's played amazingly, but he's a very much a form player, and having this thing, Asiamint, survive against your onslaught is unsettling. You're like, who am I in here with?
Oh my word, look at the Su-85 here. And bear in mind, with focus sight, it's feeding vision to the T-34s right now safely. And there's no chance of a flank, really, whilst the Su-85 is protected by the T-34s. DevM's going for another Panzer IV. I think he's just looking for a medium vehicle flank. That's a good idea, to be fair to him. Just, again, look at the focus sight vision there. For DevM, sorry, for Asiamint. He's just following these units back to the base.
He is, he's hunting them down.
What's going on with this left VP though? This is tragic. There's a T-34 there that could actually go over and capture it with the capture points ability.
But he's got him in a GG position now. His build order is possibly superior. I mean, the Panther is veterancy 2, yes, but with no vetted packs on the field. Oh, what a shot from afar! Focus fire! That was awesome by the Su-85.
By the way, anti-tank Overwatch is just ready for Asiamint. If he can use focus sight from the Su-85, I think he could just wipe these tanks from the game right here. I'm waiting to see if that's what he's planning.
Possibly escape to the base sector if he did that. Oh, what another shot by the Su-85! This thing is all killer, no filler, and every shot is an execution for DevM right now. What a unit, and what use of said unit by Asiamint. However, as had its engine damaged, DevM's going to go in with a vanilla Panzer IV. Misses, hits the shed. He's looking for it. He just wants to kill the Su-85 now, but Oh dear, what another shot there.
Well, DevM's like he's crushing the conscripts as they lie on the ground.
And here it is. Anti-tank Overwatch, that artillery. He has to keep on the move, does DevM. He has to move and fire. So difficult in a tank. However, he is able to kill the Su-85. However, his Panther, Veteran C3 dies, exposing that rear armor. Panzer IV looks likely to survive the assault. No. Conscripts with the 18A damaging the engine further. T-34s march in. This is the death of DevM's army. 1-0 to Asiamint beckons nigh. 250 victory points, yes. But he's in an unconquerable position right now.
There it is. DevM calls GG. And wow, what a fantastic game. Turned around at the last minute. Totally unexpected, but Asiamint taking 1-0 in this series. GG.
And that was just game one. That was just game one. But there you go. Let's update our miniature brackets here live on your screen. As you can see that we do now have Isilda and Asiamint 1-0 up each.
Wow.
We need a break, mate. We need a break. I'm pretty sure the next game's probably starting, but that was tremendous. It really was.
Yeah, we've been treated actually because we have a lot of games to go today, and you know it's why we watch Company of Heroes, because it's just beautiful when you see that kind of thing happening. Like I think maybe we perhaps gave him too much strategic credit for, well, he may have been throwing the game at that point, you know, like by doing the dive. But I mean, it's just beautiful, really, to see like how he handled it, how he recovered it, how he dominated from that point onwards. You know, this is exactly what we're expecting from this stage of the tournament. Is games like this, is the players to be just like at each other's throats constantly, neck and neck. Phenomenal game, really. And if I can, you know, sorry to talk for ages, you know, like one of the cool things that, you know, we saw, for instance, like Love Nest and some other players were playing with this defensive tactics commander, and you know, that has just allowed Asiamint, who didn't have a great early game at all, I will say that it wasn't strong early game whatsoever, you know, but it allowed him to survive. You know, it's a commander that is there to kind of counter the Ostrupen. It works, and it allowed him to get into that late game swing and just play phenomenally. And you know, I'm so glad that we got to see that.
Yeah, I think he's up against a build order that's so strong. You know, it's a ridiculous build order. Is this Ostrupen kind of style with the vehicles out at specific points, etc. It is truly very difficult to come up against. So Asiamint's start is not necessarily indicative of his style. You know, maybe, but he goes up against DevM as well. Dan, a great, you know, early starter also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want to see the live scores of the brackets, go on over to the exclamation mark brackets. You can see that there's 1-0 in both series. We're waiting for game 2 of Nagano-Isilda. You may know that Asiamint, of course, is playing in Korea. I'm sure he's timed his body clock for this tournament, though. I mean, you would do, wouldn't you, for 10 grand? I certainly would.
Yeah, absolutely.
What sickies are invented for, isn't it? No, we're not condoning that. But
yeah, no, that's I mean, it's a difficult thing when you're hosting a global tournament to make it fair for everyone. Hopefully, you know, these players are taking the tournament seriously. I think that's clear. Players have been studying, they've been scrimming, they've been keeping cards close to their chest. So hopefully they're also taking care of their health, sleeping early, you know, getting everything prepared that they need to. But yeah, I mean, you know, this is just normal, I think.
Let's watch that that dive again, shall we? Let's see if this works. Still of course, well, it's game 2 now. I do need to change that, but let's just listen along. Here we go.
The advantage in the center with these M42 AT guns, but he hasn't used it at all. Look at that shot.
Oh, he got good reconnaissance from the conscripts. Will he get the final blow? He needs the turret traversal. He's going to ram the Panzerwerfer. Asiamint, you madman. Beautiful stuff. He also gets the kill on the 222. This is the madness we desired, and we're getting it with full fruition right now. Rear armor may have been penetrated, but the tank's still alive, goddammit. And he might get the killing blow. Yes, he does. Asiamint pulled the trigger.
The advantage in the center.
That was pretty cool. Stormers, I'm so sorry, mate. I always speak for just slightly long, so the bloody transitions, you always come away and with it. We do a 1-2 punch, Stormers and I. We're a casting team, so we very early on, we figured out that I say something crazy, Stormers comes in with something equally crazy, but maybe a little bit more kind of human sounding, and then I come in, and then it's like a 1-2 system. But on the Twitch clips, it's really brutal to Stormers. It's really unfortunate. He always says really good stuff. It's just...
It's always like, well, AE, end of video.
I'm so sorry, mate.
What was great about that, AE, was end of video. And if you look over here, end of video. I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
It's brutal though. So glad in GCS 2 when it was tightrope casting with you, and he was doing more analysis. You finally got one of the greatest casting calls in history. Did you see that?
That was with Momo.
Was it with Momo? What was it? Sorry. Did you see that?
It was railway artillery with the Sturmovik air support, and it was the end of the game anyway. But it was just incredible because the railway artillery would have killed. I can't remember what unit it was on the center VP, but the Sturmovik plane flew in timing. It took the railway artillery shell, survived. So the explosion happened in air and then flew off, saving the unit underneath.
I know Stern Panther will find your link and post it in chat for us. Guys, the next game starts in exactly 4 minutes. I'm going to get good old Mr. Stormless into a lobby. And we are then going to go live. We're going to have a little break there just to rest our larynxes, etc., and get some water on board. So we'll be straight back live into Game 2 of the first series today, the upper bracket final. So thank you.